Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, welcome to our meeting today, which is a little bit impromptu meeting, as we call it. So first of all, I see that we have one guest here, and the principle of our club is to announce where we work here, who suggests, who recommend our club, you know, and
she's a Toastmaster.
She's a Toast. You are a Toastmaster. So, okay, so if you can briefly inform the reason why you are here.
Yes. Good afternoon.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Good afternoon. My name is Mary Mika. I used to be a Toastmaster. I can't remember, 6 years ago. Yes, 6 or 7 years ago. And I completed my communication manual. And then, you know, work and this and that. I promised I always will come back to finish my leadership program. So now I've decided I want to come back to complete my leadership program. Yes.
So wonderful. So we have two other guests, but not totally new, as I remember that you came twice already. So Robin, so can you just briefly mention where you work, and I think it's your second attempt here.
It's the third time I attend the Toastmasters meeting, and I work for UNIDO as a consultant, and I arrived in Vienna 2 years ago. I'm French-Swedish, and happy to be here.
Okay, thank you. Your neighbor, briefly also.
I'm Yassine. It's my third time as well, and I work at the city BTO, and I arrived in Vienna 2 months ago.
Okay, it's your second attempt.
My third one.
Third one. Okay, so welcome. Yeah, and at last but not least, who are you? And you came also, I remember you.
Yeah.
So,
my name is Nazik. This is my third visit to here, and I liked these presentations every time, and I would like to improve my communications. I'm implementing UNIDO.
okay.
That's it.
So welcome. So UNIDO is well represented, and CTBTO, yes, not only UNIDO but CTBTO also. Yeah, UNIDO, wonderful. So, some business point I would like to make before going into the core meeting, I would say, is that we will have to pay very soon our new fees, you know. As for the 1st of April, we will have to pay our 48 euro fees. So you will get a reminder from Brigitte, who is our treasurer. She's not in today. And please try to pay your fees on time, because it is also something, you know, when you have to remind the people to pay dues, it's not the best job we can do, but it's something, you know, administrative that we have to do here. Okay, so for not the newcomer, it's a special, we will have another kind of fees rate to pay at the beginning, so we will discuss this with you if you decide to become a member. But for the usual fellows, I would say don't forget to pay your dues. And second very important point is our club contest. As I mentioned it last time, we will have our club contest on the 8th of March, meaning in our next meeting. And of course, we are looking for participants to this contest. It will be a contest about international speech and evaluation speech. As I said last time, to be a participant, to be speaker in international speeches, we have to have reached the 6th level in the communication manual. So not everybody can, you know, compete for this contest. For the evaluation speech, everybody can compete. So you will receive very soon an small email with a small questionnaire, and we will ask you to fill in all the roles you can find in this contest. So, for instance, we will need contestant for international speech, for evaluation speech. We will need a chair for this contest. We will need a chief judge. We will need judges. We will need counter. We will need timer. So, and we will encourage everybody here to try to take a role, even a small one, but I think it's the aim of this contest, you know. If you don't want to be perhaps the really involved 100% as contestant, try to take a role, because we need nearly, I think, the whole club to be active in this contest. After that contest on the 8th of March, we will have an area contest, because the club contest is at our level. After, we will have an area contest for the area here, and we don't know exactly the date. It's still not announced, because normally we have a conference, not a contest, an area conference. But this time they skip the conference because the division conference will be also in Vienna. So they decided, in order not to repeat it twice, you know, to make it on a shorter way, I would say. So the division conference will take place on the 23rd of April in Vienna, and they are still looking for also participants to help them. You know, it's the club 551, I think, who organized this conference, and we have to be also active and try to help them organizing this, but it will come on a later stage. So, now I would like to handle control of this meeting to our Toastmaster of the day, who try, you know, to be active and to, as she saw yesterday, that not so many participants decided to take actively a role. She decided, you know, to find a solution for this meeting, and unfortunately, what happened very often here is that people wake up in the morning, and it's good, because they wake up, they don't stay silent, you know, always, but perhaps they wake up a little bit too late, and sometimes, you know, we have confusion, and you know, our Toastmaster decided, and it's good, to prepare something in order not to let our meeting being a flop, but we had to adapt ourselves, and we had to find, you know, a common, I would say, agreement, and try to make everybody participate. But I would like to
deny, but okay.
I would like to invest our Toastmaster of the day. Thank you. Please.
Madam Chairperson. Fellow Toastmasters, I've been absent for a while, but it's not because I don't love you and I don't love Toastmasters. I wasn't in the country, and I've been going to other Toastmasters clubs. Now, what you see is not always what you're going to get, because what I see here is what's going on today. I had prepared something yesterday evening, but we're not going to discuss that. I just understand, because I don't have my character straight, I'm supposed to be describing the program. So how can I describe it if I don't know what's going on? Nicole, what are you doing, and at which stage?
Any stage you want. And I'm going to show a very short presentation on how to offer feedback, because one of the themes of the contest in March will be feedback, will be evaluation. So for those people who maybe plan to take part, then these are a few tips.
Okay, so I can throw you in wherever I want.
Whenever.
All right. I'm in my glasses in the meantime. So I'm describing the program. For the benefit of our guests, this is not a typical Toastmaster meeting on one level. On another level it is. Ordinarily we have 2 prepared speeches, sometimes 3. Sometimes we have speeches-only meetings. We usually have speakers. And it just so happens, I mean, this is life. One speaker dropped out, and shortly thereafterwards, I was at least of the impression that the other speaker had dropped out. But it turns out it was an easy speak glitch, so we do have a speaker. I'm afraid since I don't have anything on the agenda, I won't be able to announce your title and your project and all of that. But maybe I'll sneak over to you while other people are doing things up here. So, the next thing, if you're reading this, there's no meeting theme, so there are no debates. We are being filmed. You've already been listening to the messages from our chairperson. I believe I asked the grammarian for the word of the day, Toastmaster Shuba.
Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests. Today my task is of the grammarian, and also I am supposed to announce a word of the day, and that will be hale. H-A-L-E. This is the word of the day today, and it is an adjective. And the synonym of hale is free from defect, disease, or infirmity, sound, also written in exceptional health and vigor. So, in short, hale is healthy person. This is the word of the
Sounds like equivalent to German Heim, maybe.
hale.
I've never heard of it. I have English as my first language, and it's random.
I have some examples if you wish. One example of this word is, he was a rich and powerful noble, then in his 62nd year, but hale and sturdy, a great horseman and hunter, and a pious man. It is by Edith Wharton, Careful, 1916, so he used this word that time.
Okay, thank you. So that means that our grammarian is also going to be taking note of how many times the word of the day is used. You don't get a prize if you win this one.
And also, my task is to report on good and bad use of language, and report on the word of the day.
Perfect. Okay. So at this stage, thank you. At this stage, I'd like to turn over control of the meeting to our general evaluator for today, who also is not on your agenda, but she's assuming this role, and that happens to be Toastmaster Libby. And she will introduce her team.
Madam Toastmaster of the day. So, as usual, we have our great improvisers who popped in at the last moment. And Vicky is the R counter. So, would you like to say what you're going to do, Vicky?
Madam General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, honoured guests, I'm the R counter today, which means I'm going to count any unnecessary words or word fillers that inhibit our speech. As Toastmasters, we try to give hale speeches, to give fluent speeches, and that is why we try to avoid fillers like are, so, too many so's, or to repeat ourselves certain words too often. So I'm going to count it and give a report at the end of the meeting.
Thank you, Victoria. Notice we clap to encourage each other after every presentation. The grammarian has already been introduced, that's Shuba. The timekeeper, Glenda. Would you like to tell us, Glenda, what you'll do for us today?
Madam General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, I will be the timekeeper for today. One of the things we want to achieve in being Toastmasters is to say what we want to say in an effective manner. That means in as short time as possible. So we do have, for the speech that we are going to have today, we have 1 minute. Are we going to have a speech? We're going to have to speak how long? 5 minutes.
How long?
10 minutes. Okay. So we're going to have, I'm going to show the green card when we reach the 7 minutes. Then I'm going to I'm going to show the yellow card afterwards before we reach the 10 minutes, when I show the red card. And at that point, the speech has to come to an end.
Thank you, Glenda. Our ballot counter is Monica, and she will be counting the votes for the table topics that we have had today. And the table topics master for today is Ines. And that completes my team of the who is the evaluator of?
We're not having an evaluation.
Okay, so there will be no evaluator of the speech.
It won't
so
count the speech
that
either.
completes the evaluation team. Thank you.
Thank you, Lily. So, I volunteered to be evaluator. And ordinarily in our club, prior to somebody delivering the speech, we ordinarily ask the evaluator to stand up and say what the purpose is. It's like the performance review. How do you know how you can be graded if you don't know what you're supposed to be achieving? So we instigated, or we started this habit of always having the evaluator say the purpose of the speech, but we don't have a manual. So I don't know what the purpose of your speech is. And again, I have a reputation for being strict. I would say it wouldn't count if it's not evaluated. But anyway, having said all of that, I don't want to discourage you. Because first of all, I know Toastmaster adult, just like Mary Mika knows Toastmaster adults, from years and years and years ago. She's a former president. And then one day, from 1 second to the next, she disappeared. And we had no idea where she'd gone. Okay, that's the past. We don't worry about that. We have her in the present. That's the main thing. She's an accomplished speaker. She's a lot of fun. And she's giving actually a really difficult project, at least in my eyes. It's from one of our advanced manuals. Mary Mika, you've already done the 10 for the competent, we call it now communicator. You're already adept in one of the advanced manuals, and it happens to be on interpretive reading. And the title of your speech is A River Between. And you've asked for, how many minutes?
7 to 10.
7 to 10 minutes, okay? So it's my great pleasure to introduce Toastmaster adult delivering interpretive
Fellow Toastmasters, one of the things in interpretive readings, one of the projects, is to read a text with full expression and try and depict the events taking place in the text being read. I've chosen a book written by Vic Tm. He's a Kenyan author, actually considered one of the classic African writers, and it is a standard textbook for secondary school English. So it's something I read when I was in my teens, way back when. And I thought you might enjoy reading it too, or at least hearing about it. I intend to read you 3 chapters. It goes like this. The 2 ridges laid side by side. One was Kameno, the other was Makuyu. Between them was a valley. It was called the Valley of Life. Behind Kameno and Makuyu were many more valleys and ridges, lying without any discernible plan. They were like sleeping lions which never woke. They just slept, the big, deep sleep of their creator. A river flowed through the Valley of Life. If there had been no bush and no forest trees covering the slopes, you could have seen the river when you stood on top of either Kameno or Makuyu. Now, you had to come down, and even then, you could not see the whole extent of the river as it gracefully and without any apparent haste wound its way down the valley like a snake. The river was called Honya, which meant cure or bring back to life. Honya River never dried. It seemed to possess a strong will to live, spawning droughts and weather changes. And it went on in the same way, never hurrying, never hesitating. People saw this and were happy. Honya was the soul of Kameno and Makuyu. It joined them. And men and cattle and wild beasts and trees were all united by this life stream. When you stood in the valley, the 2 ridges ceased to be sleeping lions united by their common source of life. They became antagonists. You could tell this, not by anything tangible, but by the way they faced each other, like two rivals ready to come to blows in a life and death struggle for the leadership of this isolated region. It began a long time ago. A man rose in Makuyu. He claimed that Gikuyu and Mumbi sojourned there with Murungu on their way to Mkurue wa Uganda. As a result of that day, he said, leadership had been left to Makuyu. Not all the people believed him, of course, for it had not always been whispered and rumored that Gikuyu and Mumbi had stopped at Kameno, and had not a small hill grown out of the soil on which they stood south of Kameno. And Marungu told them, this land I give you, O man and woman. It is yours to rule and till you and your prosperity. The land was fertile. It was the whole of Kikuyu country, from one horizon embracing the heavens to the other hidden in the clouds. So the story ran in Kameno. Spiritual superiority and leadership had been left there. Kameno had a good record to bear out the story. A sacred grove had sprung out of the place where Gikuyu and Mumbi stood. People still paid homage to it. It could also be seen by any who cared to count that Kameno threw up more heroes and leaders than any other ridge. Muga wa Kabiro, that great Gikuyu seer of old, had been born there. And he had grown up seeing visions of the future and speaking them to the many people who came to see and hear him. But a few, more cynical than their neighbors, would not go to him. They called him an impostor. Then one night, when people were asleep, he vanished from the hills. He was soon heard from the land beyond, in Nyeri, Kiambu, Ranga, in fact all over Kikuyu country. And he still spoke aloud his message and cried, "There shall come a people with clothes like butterflies." These were the white men. Or there was that great witch Camille, whose witchery bewildered even the white men of Muranga. His witchery and magic, before he was overcome by the white man with smiles and gifts, had won him resounding fame. He too, it was said, had been born at Kameno. Like Mugo before him, he had disappeared from the hills to the country beyond. He could not be contained by the narrow life of the ridges. Another was Washiori, a great warrior, who had led the whole tribe against Ukabi Masai. As a young man, he had killed a lion by himself. When he died at the hands of a straying white man, he left a great name, the idol of many a young warrior. The ridges were isolated. The people there led a life of their own, undisturbed by what happened outside or beyond. Men had women, and women had nothing to fear. The Ukabi would never come here. They would be lost in the hills and the ridges and the valleys. Even other Kikuyu from Nyeri or Kiambu could not very well find their way into the hills. And so, the country of many ridges was left alone and affected by turbulent forces outside. These ancient hills and ridges were the heart and soul of the land. They kept the tribe's magic and rituals pure and intact. Their people rejoiced together, giving one another the blood and warmth of their laughter. Sometimes they fought, but that was among themselves and no outsider would ever know. To the stranger, they kept dumb, breathing none of the secrets of which they were the guardians. Kagutui, Kamushi, Gataki Ageni, the oil skin of the house is not for rubbing into the skin of strangers. Leaders of the land rose from there, for though the ridges were isolated, a few people went out. Those who had the courage took to look beyond their present content to a life and land beyond, were a select few sent by Murungu to save a people in their hour of need. Mugo, the great seer, Shuri, the glorious warrior, Kamiri, the powerful magician. They became strangers to the hills. Thereafter, the oilskin of the house was not for them. It was for those who lived inside. These were the people whose blood and bones spoke the language of the hills. The trees listened, moaned with the wind, and kept silent. Bird and beast heard and quietly listened. Only sometimes would they give a rejoinder, a joyful applause, or an angry roar. The hills and the ridges now lay behind. This was a plain, the only such level stretch of land in the country. If you strained your ears and peered into the misty distance, you could see the land of Okabi. It was all peaceful on this plain, which was said to have been a field of battle once long ago. A few cattle pulled and all the grass, while others lay down looking vacantly into space, chewing. Suddenly, two boys emerged from the bush. They began to fight. One was tall, and his unusually long neck and limbs made him appear older than he really was. He was Kamau, the son of Kabonyi from Makuyu. The other, Kinovia, was shorter, with surprisingly strong muscles. His slow white eyes well matched his smooth forehead. He lived with his uncle at a village beyond the ridges, away from Makuyu. His father had died early.
Toastmaster Abbott, you have the most gorgeous voice. Okay, you were reading, but the one thing I wish I could have looked at your eyes because you were dancing now, but the voice. You could have been an actress. The Oscar goes to. So I think maybe right now it's appropriate because it should have been a second prepared speech, but she's prepared, and she's going to do it. The only thing is, I have no idea how long it's going to be, and if you have a title.
I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to show something.
Well, you're going to give a presentation.
No, I'm not going to give a presentation. It's kind of a training.
Okay.
It's Toastmasters training. It's those short videos where they give you tips about how to do something. And in this particular instance, it's how to offer feedback. So it's very short. It's about 3 minutes. But for the ones among you who might want to participate in the evaluation contest, those tips might be useful. But it's very, very short.
Okay, sorry, hold on. Like I said, let's go back to the movie metaphor. I came in the movie in the middle, and I'm clueless. But I'm not going to complain. I'm going to learn how to offer positive feedback. That's Master Nicole.
So you see the so there you'll see the lady, how she speaks. So she's a trained Toastmasters. And of course, at the beginning, they tell you that why you should join Toastmasters. But just leave that and listen to the rest. So here we go. I hope, let's see.
Hello, I'm Joyce. Thanks for visiting Toastmasters International to learn more about offering feedback. Since 1924, we've helped more than 4 million people gain the confidence to communicate with others. The mutual support and feedback that club members share is the method by which they improve their communication and leadership skills. In fact, one of the main benefits of being a Toastmaster is that you learn how to give and receive feedback. These time-tested tips will empower you to prepare and present constructive feedback that will support others in their efforts to succeed. You've probably received feedback before, and you've probably also had to give some at one time or another. Feedback can be an informal conversation, as in giving your opinion of a new recipe, or it can be a formal event, as in a job performance interview. When you're giving feedback to others, the goal of either method is the same, to help others improve their skills. Whatever the case, the first thing to remember with any kind of feedback is the golden rule. Always offer your opinion in a way that you would like others to share their opinions with you. Respect their work and them too. For example, if your feedback is something best discussed privately, Wait for the right time to talk. It will be appreciated. Be sure to show that you value their effort, even if you think the results need improvement. Always try to find something that they have done well. With your confirmation of their good choices, you strengthen their ability to make even more. With the power of positive feedback, they'll walk away feeling that success is within reach. And while it's great to share positive feedback, you also want to share your honest opinion of what they could do better. But how do you know what to recommend? The first step is to ask them. It's a good idea to meet privately with the person you will be evaluating before any official evaluation. Find out what that person is working on and review project goals together. Be sure to ask what he or she hopes to achieve. If you've been asked to give an informal opinion, it still helps to ask what they want to improve. That focuses your comments in the right direction. Remember, listening to what it is they want to improve will allow you to offer useful advice. By showing the way to improvement, you've opened the door to strengthening their ability. And while we're talking about what to say, here's a suggestion about what not to say. Remember that you are sharing your opinion. As one person, you can't really see everything or predict the future, right? So try to avoid words like never and always. Instead, share what you think works for that particular project or event. Limit your discussion to specific examples and you'll be able to offer more usable information. Remind that person that their needs may be totally different next time. It's always a good idea to pay attention to the specific requirements of each goal. It's important to be as objective as possible. Remember that you've been asked to observe and report on the project, not the person. When you offer feedback appropriately in this way, you encourage people to improve their work. You're saying that you believe they can do it. When giving your verbal evaluation, remember to begin and end it with the note of specific praise so they know what works. Then sandwich any suggestions between layers of praise. As for your suggestions, it's valuable to present them carefully. Your feedback will be more engaging and motivational if you approach any negative opinions in a positive light. For example, avoid saying things like, "You did that wrong." It's better to say something like, "I know a way to do that and get great results." Then be sure to tell them how they can get the same great results. Your delivery can also make a difference. Try to speak in a friendly, direct, non-threatening manner. Make occasional eye contact with the person and smile. Follow these 5 guidelines and you'll be able to help others improve skills so they can reach major life goals. I know you'll find these suggestions useful when providing feedback in any situation, whether you're at home, work, or with friends. When you're lucky enough to receive a valuable feedback from another person, remember to thank them, because their words are going to empower you to reach your goals. For more information on giving feedback, please visit a Toastmasters Club. Find a location near you at www.toastmasters.org.
Brought to you by Toastmasters Nicole, very informative. So I'm going to ask you to do me a huge favor. I'm going to ask you to click on the taskbar on procon.org, please. Now, had we done debates today, we would have learned how basically to express things, we're for it, pro, or against it, con. Can you also click on the taskbar on the critical thinking? As a prep, I was going to lead in that we learn how to analyze, we learn how to perhaps dismiss some of our biases, we learn to be better thinkers. And this critical thinking, and you can see from the marquee, was actually very, very cute. So, I'm going to say coming attractions. At some point, I hope in the future, we're going to have a debate. I guess I'm just obsessed with American politics, and I'm fascinated with all of these things that these people get away with. Although it reminds me, and I'm actually listening to them now with my Toastmaster ears. But I don't want to spend any more time on me. Nicole, can you kill everything that we don't see anything? One of the major rules of Toastmasters is when it's not what's being presented, you shouldn't see anything behind the podium. So I know where the remote control is, and I can press the off button. So this is the part of the meeting for our guests, that the Toastmasters, they don't look at the table topics master, or they pretend to be, they pretend to be evaluating the speaker that I didn't request, because I'm so confused in this meeting. So why don't we do that right now? Ines, I beg you at least your allowance that we give Toastmaster adults a little bit of feedback. You all have little slips of paper, or if you don't, tell me, and I'll give you one, where you can be an evaluator. And one of the things I've always appreciated about these little pieces of paper is that I see we are not the same. Some things that I've done in speeches people loved, and exactly that particular point was criticized, scathingly criticized by somebody else. So you can't please everybody all the time. So 1 minute timer, how many do you have on this case?
So 1 minute, so it's
Okay, let's how to be doing this. This is your opportunity, again, to be pretending that you're writing something. Doesn't call you. Now, the guest, I understand both of the gentlemen have been here twice, so you know what your table topic is. It's an impromptu speech. We haven't been briefed, we have no idea what the questions are. Although I cheated when I asked Ines, do we have a theme? And she told me, it's honey. So we're going to talk about the bees buzzing around. And maybe it's honey because it's just Valentine's Day. I have no idea. But I invite Ines to come to the podium to deliver the table topics.
Thank you. Toastmasters. Toastmasters. Honored guest. Honey. We're getting slowly into spring, and what we are trying to do now for the next 7-8 minutes, maybe 10, looking at the clock, trying to figure out why is honey good for us? Why is honey good for you? This would really make us hail if we use the word correctly. Using honey or eating honey, as they say, is a very good thing to do. Many cultures in South America, Asia, Africa, I'm thinking of the old Egyptian culture, the Chinese, the Greek, even Europeans, they really have seen as honey as something which we really need for our lives. So, honey is reinventing itself, we may say, because people have discovered the endless benefits of honey. In the kitchen, the medical world has looked at it, the ecologists have looked at it, or are looking at it, the apiculture is something which is blooming at the moment. So, in fact, it's actually a wonderful gift to the world. So, looking at honey, how do you use this nutritional powerhouse? May I ask Glenn? Toastmaster Glenn.
Thank you very much for having us here today. Honey. Not only I love honey, my son does honey also. When he has a bit of, and my mom used it on us as well, when we've got a bit of honey and lemon, and it helps to cure all the infects, and it's much better than actually eating or taking antibiotics or taking any medicine. Actually, you should not put honey in the fridge. That's what I've heard also. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Brenda, in her culture, coming from South America, really has it in her fingers. That's why she looks ill. We're looking at other areas where honey can be used as a recipe for dry skin or softening, or dry skin in softening, for example, our skin in winter. And I would like to ask Toastmaster Monica, what would your recipe be for very good soft skin softener with honey, and how would you blend this?
Actually, I also love honey, as Glenda does. I don't have any sugar at home, so if I have visitors, I can only offer honey and not sugar. And I actually sometimes, instead of eating chocolate, I prefer to take a spoon and eat honey. I really love honey. And I always try to buy it in Austria with a bio honey producer. I know that honey is very healthy. From time to time I use it in my skin, but I mean, I have to say I'm too lazy for that, because honey is very sticky as well, and you really have to wash your face, and it's just too complicated for me. So I prefer to eat honey, as I said, with tea, and also sometimes if I want to sleep well, I take a glass of milk and put some honey inside. So that would be my recipe actually. If you want to sleep well, just drink a cup of milk with honey and you will sleep like a baby.
Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you very much. My next question goes to our environment. What does honey mean for our communities and for our environment? I'm looking especially at Joby. What do you think? How does honey, why is honey important for a country like India?
Madam Tabletop Masters and honored guest. I am from India, so in India you will find a lot of honey farms. I would say, I am not sure I'm using the correct word, but this is how you collect honey. Then you have farms, like you organize small kind of huts for the honey bees, and then you collect honey. So I am very much familiar with the way how it's collected, but about usage I am more familiar with the medical aspects of it. I know that it's been used widely in India as a medicine for different types of even acute diseases. So in combination with some Ayurvedic medicines and all, it can be used effectively to cure diseases, and in a very economical and effective way. Also, the honey is sold. I mean, you can buy honey everywhere in India, in most of the shops, and it's very well accepted and widely used throughout in India. Thank you.
Thank you very much. If we now go to the name honey as a name for your son or daughter, Vicky, how would you use the name? Would you use the name for a boy or girl? How would you go about it?
Honey, I'm home. Hello, Toastmasters, honored guests. Honey, that is my honey. Sorry. Counting my houses. How would I use the name honey? Or for whom? Was that the question? Well, for anybody who's sweet to me, of course. But what fascinates me most about the topic of bees is I find those creatures fascinating. Did you know that a bee, it takes a bee a whole life to collect and produce 1 spoonful of honey? So whenever I eat honey, I'm humbled I'm really humbled by these creatures who go out there so busy, come back, and they constantly work towards making their own offspring fly out again. And it's a circle, it goes round and round and round. And I'm just fascinated by the bees. And they're so necessary for our environment. So that is, coming back to the topic bee, that is what fascinates me most. And I think we really should appreciate these creatures. And whenever I have honey, and please do that as well, give a little prayer to those little bees who get so busy.
Very good. You are low on energy. You really need a boost. How would you use money?
Mrs. Tabletop Topic Master, dear fellow Toastmasters, since my childhood there is a way we use honey which is both good for your health and extremely pleasant, and that is that I remember when I was a child, every time we had a cold, but a bad cold, my mother would say, before you go to bed, you mix a glass of milk with honey, and so that you can sleep better. If you're over, I would say, over 10, a bit of rum. So mix honey, rum, and milk together before you go to bed, and you sleep better, and it's so good for your throat. But there's another way to use honey. Well, it hasn't got to do with energy, but I can tell you it has to do with healing a scar. If you cut yourself, or if you burn yourself, and I tried that recently because I wasn't sure I was going to believe it, I burned myself on my finger, and it was really bad. And I waited a little bit, and then I put honey, and you can come to see me at the end. There's no scar, and there's no sign of the burn on my finger. Thank you.
Seven Toastmaster, my question to you now is, are you really convinced that we cannot live without honey in this world? And with this question, I'm handing the meeting back to
questions. And you never once said B. Vicky said B, and Nicole said B, but you never once said B. I was fascinated. Anyway, I'm not going to forget this time. You now have the opportunity to vote for the best table topic speaker. Now, I'll do a little recap in case you want to go back a little bit. You have Toastmaster Glenda, who in her culture loves honey. You have Toastmaster Monica, who was talking about also sort of medicinal uses of honey. You have Toastmaster, I'm afraid I'm kind of, I don't know your name. Joby. Okay. Toastmaster Joby was talking about honey also more in a medicinal and in his home country of India. And last but not least, Nicole.
Vicky.
Oh, sorry. Vicky. Beg your pardon. Okay, I beg your pardon, but you won't forget her. That's Vicky there, and then last but not least, Toastmaster Nicole. And we're not going to accuse Toastmaster Monica if you win of some sort of, bizarre kind of thing, because we didn't know you would have table topics, etc. Anyway, so you should forward your vote, in effect, to Toastmaster Monica. And we will announce the results later. And the Oscar goes to... Now, some people do very well at the Oscars, and then some people are cheating. They're expecting Leonardo DiCaprio to win this year, finally. But he has given so many performances that are excellent, but for whatever reason, he just never managed it. So again, it's life is not always fair. Sometimes you're really good, and people don't appreciate it. And sometimes you're really bad, and you just sleep with the producer, and you get to be too That's life. That's life. So now we're going to get not criticized. We're going to have a feedback section. We refer to this as our our general evaluation, and that is going to be led by Toastmaster Lillian. You can applaud.
So in the general evaluation session, we would regularly have the evaluation of the prepared speeches. So you each gave a bit of a feedback to Adot, and there is no verbal feedback on the speech that Adot gave. So we'll go straight into the next part of the evaluations, and that is my evaluation team. Let me go first to Shuba as the grammarian. Would you like to give your grammarian report, please?
Madam General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests. Yesterday I was watching CNN News, and there I saw President of the USA, Barack Obama, and his wife receiving a lady 106 years old, who I saw very healthy, still, and active, and dancing. I was so thrilled, I was so impressed. I really wish most of us become also healthy at our old years, no matter how old, like this lady. My report today as a grammarian is actually I did find nothing, no mistakes, no errors. As I'm not an English speaker, my language is not English, I could not find any. If you find, please let me know. And word here used were by Vicky once, English twice. That ends my report today.
Let us go to the timekeeper. Glenda, would you like to give us your timekeeper's report, please?
Yes, thank you, Madam General Evaluator. So I have the report for the speech that we had from Adet. She had 9 minutes and 54 seconds, which means if she would have gone over the 10 minutes, that would have been disqualification in the competition. Regards to the topics, the minimum amount of time is 1 minute, so I actually got disqualified with 36 seconds. And then Monica had 1 minute and 12 seconds, Joby 1 minute 37, Vicky 1 minute 20, and Nicole 1 minute and 18. So for me. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Madam. Let us go to the art calendar.
Madam General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests. One more for me. 10 cents more. Okay. Glenda, you had 9 R's in your speech and 1 so. I also counted the so's because some so's are really unnecessary. But I find myself saying this so in the beginning, at the beginning of a sentence, which is not really necessary. It makes sense in between sentences if it's a transition. But at the beginning of the sentence, usually it's not necessary. So I also counted the so's. Shuba, with you, I only have 1 R. Lily, I noticed 1 so, 1 unnecessary so with you, and 1 R. Maria Teresa, 5 so's and 1 R. Although you are so clever with your speech that these so's completely vanish. You have such a tricky way of putting them, So, okay. Adot, nothing at all. Valerie, 2 R's I counted with you. Well, I heard. Nicole, 1 R. Joby, 1 R. Ines, 1 little so. Monica, 4 R's. Mary Mika, none at all. And I myself, 1 so and 2 R's. So we usually pay 10 cents per hour,
sorry.
but
Reduction?
maximum of €1. So more than 10 is still €1.
So the final person on my evaluation team, Monica, would you please give us the result of the ballot for the table topics?
Yes, Madam General Elevator, fellow Toastmasters, honorable guests, we have the pleasure to announce Vicky as winner of the...
So that takes us to my general evaluation of the meeting. I'd like to be critical at the beginning. Actually, I should be praising everybody at the beginning. But we really started late because of a lack of communication and organisation and planning for the meeting and coordination. And this is one aspect where we really need to work much, much harder to communicate together, to get together and cooperate with each other to figure out how to make things work. Easy Speak is a tool that we can use, which is one part of the teamwork, and the other part is the communication with each other. So Marie-Theresa did a great job going into Easy Speak last night, recognising that nobody was on the schedule. We had no prepared speeches, no evaluators, and prepared a program for us. Marie-Theresa whet our appetite to encourage us to prepare for the next time when we can actually follow through on that program, on the debating. And I think that's an excellent improvisation that Marie-Theresa did for us in preparing the whole meeting as the table topics, as a Toastmaster of the day, signing up for the role and taking responsibility for the whole meeting, really taking ownership. And that is something we really need to see, each one of us, to sign up to become a Toastmaster of the day, sign up for the other roles. But Toastmaster of the day is really the person who takes ownership of the meeting, and wonderful job there, Marie-Theresa, in taking that ownership. The President made an excellent feeding into the meeting in talking about improvisation, about the aspects of the meeting, of our situation that we are constantly faced with here in this building. I felt that it was a little bit unnecessary and pointed to go about pointing out the shortcomings and the issues, the planning that it would have been better if we could have done the individual planning, figuring out what is the presentation going to be about and whether we have a manual or not, instead of pointing that out in the meeting, because everybody notices when you point that out. So it's perhaps advisable if possible, and that's always our limitation in our environment here, of how to plan around the situation when we're all working in different organisations and different buildings. I loved in Adolf's presentation the sentence, "The oilskin of the house is not to rub into the skin of strangers." It opened up a whole world for me of a different culture, different ideas, and I'd love to hear much, much more, and it was very interesting to have that interpretive reading from Adolf. The Toastmaster of the day gave very positive feedback to the presenter, and I thought that was very good. The video talked about giving positive feedback so that the people feel like that success is within reach. I think that is so important. That's what I took from the video. Success is within reach. It was really good, and if you just do this next time, then you've got it. And I thought that was an excellent thing to remember to do. And that the video was very well selected in context of the fact that we do have an evaluation competition coming up, and so it's perfect preparation for that. The smooth flow to the debate option by our Toastmaster of the day I thought was really excellent, which I've already addressed, and whetting our appetite for the next time, with an interesting reference to the US elections. On that note, I would please ask you all to sign up on Easy Speak and get ready for the competition and sign up for the roles. And it usually happens that in the morning of the meeting, if we haven't got the roles and I send another reminder around, or somebody, Toastmaster of the day, whoever, goes around and manages to drum up a team, it's not the ideal. Let's get in there and sign up today and come to the next meeting, which is actually our competition. Come prepared and sign up for the contest.
Right on. Right on. Again, it's harder. It's harder if you have to and wonder and guess and ask and etc. But I'm curious because I'm going to return control of the meeting back to our quite eloquent chairperson and Madam President, because I want you to ask Mary Mika what she notices that's different about this crowd of Toastmasters compared to our coming together. And I'm very upset. You never said I've been begging you to come back for years. You never said that in the room. You never said that in the room. And I was begging you, and you never said that. So, my prerogative as Toastmaster of the day and general whatever to return control of the meeting to our president, Toastmaster Valerie.
So what's your feeling? I will start by this question. Is it exactly what you expect, or what is similar to your, compared to your previous meetings, or is it completely different?
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
Well, we had a big room. We had a bigger room, and we had a long table where everybody were sitting around the table, not at the back or on the side. So it looked a little bit, I don't know, a little bit disorganized. And I didn't expect to come in without, like before, the Toastmaster of the day, the plan switches, I found it a little bit beginning chaotic.
Yeah, but it was. Today I have to say it. Yeah. It's true, you had a good feeling because we had to, adapt ourselves also to the circumstances, and of course for the first time if you have to come back it's a bit surprising, but it is also totally what we face in life, it's never as we want, and we have to face not ideal situation, and yeah, we have to do the best we can in sometimes not adequate circumstances, and I think that at the end, we found a compromise, and it went well. Huh? It was different, but it went well. So, but are you going to come back?
Oh yes.
So you are most welcome. And I hope that next time it will be like, the table unfortunately will be the same. You will have people at the back, because we cannot do much more here, but the more important is to get everybody involved and participating in the meeting. Just a last word also about our guests, because it's your last, how can I say, last chance as guests. So we would like you, of course, to be fellows, and I don't know if you want to continue or you want to think a little bit more over this possibility. So can we have a brief feeling or feedback? I will start by Yassin.
Yes, I'm still interested. I think today was very interesting as well. The three different times were different. The first one we had lots of people in a big room, and you would have liked it. And the second time there were a bit less because some of the people were here for trying, and the third time were a bit less. And the sessions were different, and even this one I found it interesting because you had to deal with an expectation and have to improvise and do your best, and I can see that there are many things to learn here, and still the atmosphere is great, and people are smiling in this room, and I think I'll come back.
But it's not I think it's not a question of question of quality. And if everybody, participate, it's the goal, Everybody should register, should take role, should respect also, because this situation won't happen if everybody could be a little bit more proactive and think about the rest of the colleagues, I would say. So we have to try to help each other, and when we know that we have this meeting, try to participate. And I know it's not easy because we all work, we have all commitment, and but it's also a respect if we are part of a club towards our favorites, I think. So Robin, your feeling?
I really enjoyed the 3 meetings I participated to as a guest, and I'm really looking forward to participate actively in the next Toastmasters event.
And okay, I should start by you because you are the lady, so I'm sorry.
Okay. First of all, I would like to thank all fellows and guests, and I'm very happy to be to join here for first, second, and third visit, and I got introduced very friendly people and this atmosphere. And through my internship period, I'm happy to know about Toastmaster because I didn't heard about before. And VIC was the center of Toastmaster, which introduced me about this. And today's topic is Madame Ines about honey. I like this topic very much because my father also produced honey farm, and this topic was very interesting for me. And because of my internship title, I will think if I will be a member or not, because I will finish my internship at the end of May.
Okay.
And I will let you to Miss Lily per email about my next decisions or maybe or not.
Yeah, because after you go back, you don't stay here.
I will stay in Vienna, but they are in different place and different time. But I have to look at my schedule.
Okay. Okay, good. So please don't forget. Yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
There is an email sent out from our headquarters about an app. An app. Is this a Toastmaster app to be downloaded on our mobile phones? Is that, because it wasn't very clear to me, is that free of charge or is that something which we could look at?
I did not see it.
Yeah,
sorry.
There's a Toastmaster app.
Yeah, when
yesterday.
Yesterday.
It was yesterday. Because that would be useful also to see how we could link that to the meeting preparation.
Yeah, but is it for the, is it for continental or international?
You can use it during the meeting.
Yeah?
It's a timer, it's an app for timer,
Yeah,
app for grammarian.
Okay.
No, it's 137.
And
it's not free.
And archive.
It's 137.
It's €1.
€1.37.
Per month, per year, or one time? It was not very clear.
You do it once.
I will have to check. I think it's once, no?
I think so. It's just
It's one like the
installation
app,
thing.
yeah.
But if the club is interested, perhaps the board could discuss it, whether we could get it for the members.
For the members.
Yeah.
There's a number of other timers that are Toastmasters approved that are free apps that Nicole and I have both downloaded on our
No, the timer is free of charge.
Yeah. Yes, we got this.
The timer application is free.
Okay. So we will come back to you with. I have to check it. Personally, I did not read it. So next time I will come. I will give more feedback. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly my point of order, is that you need to give Vicky her ribbon.
Yes, exactly. So where is the ribbon?
Email topic speech. I failed so badly, and I thought I really have to focus on this. So today I'm so happy to receive this.
So you will receive about this email, Nicole. Are we going to send this email to, for the contest on the 8th?
Oh yes, yes. It's a doodle. It's a doodle that you have the different roles, and you have to apply. Now you're taking me a little bit off guard, so I'm not too sure.
We have to send this email.
No, but I know, it's all prepared,
Yeah.
it's all prepared, so people have to, I know. You have to put your name, it's a doodle application, well, doodle device. So you have to put your name. Please put your full name and not only your first name, because you have different people with the same first name, so put the entire name and then choose a role.
For the contest.
For the contest, so it can be a very small role, like a
judge or
like a timer, or.
That's not small.
No, but I mean compared to chief judge and to master,
I think that's hard.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, just if you feel like taking the role, then just cross one of the possibilities. If I didn't make a mistake, they're all there. All the roles are there.
So that's for our meeting? Our Toastmasters?
For contest, our club contest. Yeah, we're not going
We're
over
not
that.
using Easy Speak.
Yes,
No.
but it's to help to get this team, to be sure that all the roles are fulfilled. Nicole, we decide in our executive committee to make it clearer and
Isn't there a template that will do that anyway?
Yes, we will send this to everybody, Yeah, but it's I think it was a quicker way. It's in Easy Speak, but it's a double security, I would say, to be sure that all the. But she did it. She did it. Nicole, she did it. It's prepared. So we are going to send you this to the link because we send us to the executive team, and I think it's good. It's a good tool, and we would encourage you to fill in the roles. And even don't be afraid, because you will have a chief judge. If you don't know exactly what a judge should do, you will be briefed. You will receive like a rule book, and please try to take a role. Even a small one, but try to take a role. Don't be afraid, because it's no reason to be afraid.
And Valerie, if you see that, for instance, we need 2 timers, and that 2 persons have already taken the role, don't hesitate to still put your name in, because there's a chance that one person will not come in the end, so it's better to have more than not enough.
Yeah. Yes.
Can we also, as non-members, whether can we participate?
As non-members?
As observers, in any case, but not in competition itself. But as a it could be judged or something like that, I think so. To read the rule book, I think so.
We will read it, and you put all your data in the little, in the guest book? No. Who has, Lily, can you just, and we will let you know.
Thank you.
So it closes our meetings for today.